Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Chris Hillman, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Does Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neelands, Matt, Missouri Bear, NA Literalist, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Skeptic 936, Rob H, Steve ALM, Texas Mike, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Unbelievable Productions and Windrider. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a couple of people in Discord, I believe, along with 10th Man in G+, so I'll raise the mic on them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Let me see, it's too early in the morning here. Oh, Rumpus walking. He left a non-inertial reference frame when he was walking.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Now, I have it recorded on my voice recorder on my phone, and I really wanted to play it yesterday. You just rounded the show off, and I wasn't sure if it was all right, but do you want to hear it? It's like 5 minutes long. It was classic.
Nah, not if it's played off a phone. It'll just sound horrendous.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what the number was, the show.
That'd be better if you can find it out. If you can find it out with the timestamp, I can play it off the original video.
Well, the date on my recording says July 16, 2019. Now, whether that was the same day I copied it or near the date, I'm not sure. But the classic.
Yeah, he tried the same thing on us, didn't he? When he wanted to talk about what a guy on a train was doing, or a guy on a plane was doing, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you talk about what's happening from the perspective of the inertial reference frame. That's never going to give you a Coriolis effect.
Yeah, they changed the subject as if it actually is related to what they're talking about.
It is related.
Well, the guy walking.
It is related. It's just not the cause of the effect. So it's related.
No,
you can detail.
That's what I'm saying. The question is the cause.
You can give a comparison between what you would see if you were in the inertial reference frame to compare to what you would see if you were spinning on the non-inertial reference frame. So it's whatever you're describing is not moving at all or moving straight in the inertial frame. And then because you're spinning underneath it, you see it seem to deviate. But without detailing what's in the inertial frame, how are you going to juxtapose the apparent drift? Well, on their side, rather than just using it as a tool to juxtapose what you're actually observing, they start detailing that you don't have any drift, i.e. detailing what's happening in the inertial reference frame. When the whole point is that you're supposed to detail what you observe. And that observation will include drift, apparent drift.
And to make it simpler for a farmer, you said it yesterday, only can be observed from a non-inertial reference frame.
Right.
And they go, if with a little bit of comedic laugh track, well, the bullet is not seeing that as it's flying out of your gun. What? The bullet in the inertial reference frame? No, we're talking about the non-inertial reference frame. They change it.
Yeah. And it's now I've got a good understanding of what it is. I catch them out when they do it, because in their description they'll tell you, well, what is it that's going to be detailed? And they'll detail that they're going to describe how the projectile's moving, and you're like, well, that's not Coriolis. No, I don't need a description of what's happening in the inertial reference frame from a globe head ever again. What's that? You need to compare it to what Coriolis is? No, I don't need that. I understand. Yeah, travelling straight. Yeah. Don't need you to detail it any further than that. Nothing's happening in the inertial reference frame. Literally, there's nothing to detail. There's no Coriolis happening in that frame of reference, so who cares? From their perspective. Yeah. From our perspective, in that frame of reference, Earth's supposed to be turning under the plane. But
and it was a classic.
In other words, we debunk it from the inertial frame. They have to claim it from the non-inertial frame and try to claim it from the inertial frame where our debunking resides.
Yeah, but Nathan, what about the Doppler effect and cosmic background radiation?
QE's going to release a show on that. So, yeah, that's something I discussed recently with people because of 5G and explaining how their misapprehensions about what a wave in terms of light, when it has that arbitrary assigned classification description of a wave, when it's not, it's a mathematical wave function. Well, people have got the same misapprehensions about those waves, in quotes, when it came to 5G. And then what do you know? A couple of weeks later, you've got the CMB coming back up and you're like, well, no, getting Doppler from a wave isn't feasible if you're talking about microwave. How are you supposed to get a shift in a concept of a probability distribution? That's not going to give you a Doppler now, is it? but QE's covering this in an upcoming show.
I only said that because whether you are a normie or on the show here a lot and see their little tricks, it's interesting to catch how they avoid answering the actual question, the causes of Coriolis, and they throw in a sidebar statement like Doppler effect, cosmic background radiation. Now, if I heard that as a normie, I said, well, that's above my pay grade. I don't even know what that means. And so they use these tactics to make their nose go up on the common folk and say, we know more than you. Don't question us, And then back on the farm, what caused that bite on your ankle? Yeah, you stepped next to a snake. It's that simple.
Yeah, call a spade a spade.
Obfuscated.
In England, we say call a spade a spade. In other words, just say it like it is, rather than the nonsense diatribe that we receive, running around the reeking of what they want to say, just to obfuscate what's really being said, which isn't correct.
And at the bottom line, the question is simple. What is the cause of Earth-based Coriolis? Well, the Earth must be turning as a non-inertial reference frame. Must be turning. Must have rotation. They won't say it. Even though they say the Earth is rotating 1,000 miles an hour at the equator in their globe model. Trying to get them to commit to that with the cause of Coriolis, they almost don't want to say the Earth is rotating.
No, you're not wrong. They'll phrase it, 15 degrees an hour proves Earth's rotating. 15 degrees an hour of what exactly? 15 degrees an hour of the Earth rotating underneath would be the reply if they wanted to say it. But of course, as soon as they assert that the Earth's rotating underneath, oh right, Earth's rotating underneath the balloon I let go, or the helicopter, or the drone, or the aeroplane, or the bird, or anything else that's not attached to the reference frame as per Coriolis. Earth's rotating underneath all this stuff, is it? Surely not. Well, no, now I'm going to launch into a double-speak contradiction exercise where I explain exactly how much it's not deviating from the non-inertial reference frame. It's just like, what?
It's so good. I love it when you catch them on that. It's comedic. I just go on mute and laugh my head off.
What amazes me is they still think Nathan has it wrong. Funny.
Oh, well, I've been around a lot of people who have been trapped in cults for years, and they believe everything the cult leader says. And until the cult leader has been arrested and taken in on some charge of some kind, that until something drastic happens, till the scales off their eyes fall off, they actually do believe this stuff.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. You're probably right.
I remember
there's always an explanation to be found if you're a globehead. Therefore, having the contradiction and doublespeak parroted back to you from Wikipedia by a globehead isn't surprising, because the general rhetoric is nonsense of sphere Earth, and therefore that's what you're going to find if you go looking. So they go, well, there must be an answer to this problem. We have gas pressure without a container. Tap, 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 tap into Google. And you might find a redneck retard if you're a PhD.
Yeah. No, there are plenty of them. They have to keep it going. Just like it's true in politics. They got to keep the lie in politics going. They keep the lie in the whole pseudoscience, which they want to claim as science.
Yeah, but they never admit to anything. At least Nathan admits, hey, I learned something new, or I didn't have it right back then. They will never concede to anything.
Well, Neil, you sound old enough to have watched a few war movies. What opposing armies can admit to anything while they're shooting at you?
Well, this is true.
Yeah, bang, bang, bang. Yes, we admit we broke the Geneva Convention. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, but we're talking about a debate, and I've heard you in times past say I didn't have it right back then, but I learned something new. If they're searching for truth, or what, they just think they have it and that's it, so I guess that's it then. You're right. They've established that they have the truth.
Yeah,
they're not searching for truth, that's for sure.
They have the truth of their religion, according to them.
Yes.
Chuck Missler said that the biggest obstacle to the truth is thinking you already have it. Chuck Missler.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Paul Hall, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hello, hello.
Well, that was about as enthusiastic as it gets for a start.
Good morning.
Hello, Nathan. How are you doing?
Hello, Nathan. Oh, it's so good, so nice. Thank you. You're all here for me. Thank you. Any signs of a physical Earth curve edge horizon?
Formerly known as.
I said Earth curve in it this time, so formerly known as Earth curve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not from Camarillo Airport.
Is that where all the boats used to go?
That's right. That's where the boats used to go over. Earth curve, right. Formerly known as the geometric horizon also in their model.
No
No?
sign.
No? Nobody? Anybody? A load of people in Discord that haven't taken off mute, so I should really do that now. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No signs, no evidence. They keep saying the Earth is rotating until you pin them on it, and then they say 15 degrees, so it's rotating, right?
Yeah, they just miss off the other
Supposedly.
bit. We discussed this in the pre-show. So yeah, 15 degrees. What of what? Well, of the Earth rotating beneath an inertial frame of reference. That would be the frame of reference that planes, bullets, balls, drones, helicopters, hot air balloons, birds, they're all in the inertial reference frame, and the 15 degrees an hour would be the Earth rotating underneath according to their claim with the gyro or pendulum. They just don't say of the Earth rotating underneath, because as soon as you say that, people would go, hang on, if Earth's rotating under planes, that would shorten flight times, as we point out here at nausea. Let's not hash this out for an hour, because it was on QE yesterday in the last two shows. So, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there, but the distance, no one knows the distance.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No scientific evidence of gravity. They made up the word. It's a to-go word to get them out of any bind that they're ever in.
What is gravity?
That's a good
Good
question.
question, Neil.
Anyway,
they
any
say it
scientific
is?
evidence of whatever the hell it is?
Well, what did they say it is? What's it supposed to be doing, Neil?
I think it's supposed to be bending something in space. I don't know. I think it's two big things attracted to each other.
That's two completely different things, though, isn't it, Neil?
Yeah, so I don't know which one. I mean, tell me which one I
Neither.
need to believe in.
Both pseudoscience.
Oh, okay. So relative density?
Density. You don't need the relative bit unless you've got something pushed into disequilibrium, i.e. you're explaining how a mic drops, then you might need the relative bit.
Yes. Like I just dropped my pencil.
Yeah, more
Oh,
dense
no,
than
you
the air.
didn't. That's gravity. That's gravity. That's not you.
What's gravity again?
Neil dropping his pencil.
It was fine right in my little pencil holder. It wasn't bothering anybody there.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, but they only have to have gravity because they have to believe in a sphere with 70+% of what's on the sphere, water, being able to stay on the sphere. So they got to make up some pseudo force to keep all the water from flying out into space, dare I say it. Oh, by the way, it's turning or rotating 1,000 miles an hour in the middle of the sphere. And so they need some kind of force to keep everything velcroed.
Arwin incoming in. Oh no, just a little hair late. Hey, Arwin.
Hello. Afternoon.
Hey, Armin.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, they don't work on that level.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Another fairy tale.
Flat Earth debate intro.
Apart from in my intro.
It's in my son's homeschooling books.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Anybody at all? Textbooks and intros don't count.
Any ballers in Discord want to step up on that one?
I think there is.
Volcanoes prove it.
Volcanoes have got nothing to do with the centre of the Earth, even in the heliocentric rhetoric. That's not what causes or gives you the volcanic lava. Even in their rhetoric, right, they've got plate boundaries and the frictions causing these little pools on the ring of fire where all these plate boundaries are. It's the friction at the surface level, at crust level, according to their rhetoric, that causes volcanoes. Now, I'm not saying that is or isn't what causes volcanoes. I've no idea if we've even got tectonic plates. Nevertheless, that's what they say. causes volcanoes. It's not because there's a little channel down to the centre of the Earth, 3,000 miles down or something stupid.
I was told to use my mind. If it's lava's coming out and it's hot, it's got to be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, from tectonic activity as opposed to the centre of the presupposed ball Earth. According to them, again, I'm not confirming that that's what is actually happening. Like I say, I don't even know if plates are real.
But let me get this straight. So they're suggesting there is this friction, right? Well, friction would imply motion, so it can't really be friction. It would rather be like plate pressure. It's like rubbing off and pressurizing. And does that cause rock to melt?
I don't
Pressure?
know. I don't know.
I've never heard of that. Like, I know there's all kinds of things you can do with rock, but just heating it just by pressure, I've never heard of that. It's always some kind of electricity or fire involved.
Just for the chat, I'm not confirming or denying plate tectonics. I don't know if that is correct or not. I know their rhetoric. Or you could say I understand it, but do I confirm or deny it? No, I have no idea of plate tectonics. I'm not a geologist.
Right. I'm just wondering if the people that are aware the Earth is not a globe, that have all the data, that have the original tests or whatever they did, if they even got as far as to figure out what really causes lava.
Probably not. That's why I'm saying, that's why I keep peppering this with, look, I'm not saying this is the case just because I can parrot it off a book. I'm saying that is just their version of what they claim is the events that lead to a volcano based on, like I say, where you've got lots of volcanoes on what they map out and call the Ring of Fire.
Right.
At all these plate boundaries. But are plates real? I don't know. Maybe. Could be. Are they not real? Are they fake? Maybe. I don't know. Could be. Moving on. Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
No, Black Swan took care of that.
Black Swan.
Yeah, at best we disproved the exact nature of R.
At best, we debunked the radius, eh? The fundamental premise of their religion. Right, last but by no means least, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container for all the fundamentalist religious zealots who believe the sky is a vacuum?
No.
No. But if they try, they always come first with the gradient, then to gravity, and then it moves on to conceptual mediums. And then the whole argument is lost.
Well, they fall apart when they try to explain how it could happen. And when you say, can you demonstrate it? They can't. So, and even to demonstrate a vacuum, you need a container. And then they use some kind of a pump to take all the air out of it. But if you break down the walls of that container, all the air outside of it is going to get back in it. So in the reverse mode, it works. And in the other way, it works. You can't have any of this without a container.
That's funny that you say that, because we could choose to change the housekeeping question into any evidence of a vacuum without a container. It would be just as well.
Correct.
That's right. Good
That's
one.
right. Equally as applicable. Yeah, you can't have a vacuum without a container. Correct. However, the vacuum bit, the reason that isn't the way it's phrased is because, well, what vacuum? As soon as you start saying, how do you have a vacuum without a container, you're arguing about the vacuum, which is non-existent. We don't have a sky vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. It's as simple as that. So how do we have the gas pressure? Well, we definitely have that bit, right? So let's start from there, because we definitely have gas pressure here. So how can we have that gas pressure that we're all breathing without the necessary antecedent of a container for it to press upon? As opposed to, how do you have a sky vacuum without a container?
Yeah, and then when we talked yesterday, as well as in the pre-show, how they say that the atmosphere is one and the same with their sphere, and it's all stuck together. They can't even prove that. I mean, that's impossible.
The newbies who've joined, oh no, they've disappeared already. Fair enough. Easy E, hello.
It's
Can you hear us? I'm off mute, but we can't hear you. Wonderful. Nice to have you. We can't hear what you're saying, but wonderful all the same. I've got an issue with Discord because I can't hear anything from them. Can someone else in Discord say something?
I'm in Discord.
Oh, no, fine. It's just somebody not talking.
Come on, Easy E. Get it together, Easy E. You were live on chat yesterday.
Hello, hello.
Oh, there we go. You're really quiet, my friend. Can you get a bit closer to your mic or something?
Good afternoon. Hi, is that better?
Still can't quite hear you.
Is that better?
Getting there.
Oh, I'm using push to talk.
I don't think that makes any difference. You're just
Not
too far from your
working
mic.
very well.
Okay, well, this isn't going to be successful then, is it? Let's be honest.
No, ignore me. Ignore me.
Put some bass in your voice. Come on.
We can't hear you, mate. There's no point.
Went from easy E to difficulty real quick.
Difficulty. That's a good one.
There we go. QE Enigma. Hello. How you doing? Or Q Enigma.
No, nothing.
Where's Chocolate, by the way?
Don't know. Must be working or busy working because he's always working when he's on the show.
Right.
Hence all the background
Maybe
noise.
another meeting or something.
Possibly. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Chocolate today. Hey, Righteous.
Hey.
Might have to kick a few of these people out when we get a full panel because none of them are talking.
Yeah. Just show up and take a spot, but no talkie.
Hey, Mole Man, can you hear us? Hello?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. But I'm at shop, so.
But you what, sorry? I didn't quite catch that.
I'm in a store.
Oh, I had a baby
He's in the
screaming.
store. He's in the
He's
shop.
in the store. Oh, he doesn't want to talk flat earth with public around him. Fair enough. That figures.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Who's that? Star? Was it Stag something?
Lee. Hey, Nathan. I was your newest Yoda.
Oh, wow.
Kwasi Johnson.
Oh, cool. Thank you for joining.
Maybe the show 1151.
Cool.
Man, I've been flat earther. I've been listening since you destroyed Mick West in his curve, quote unquote curve calculator. Hooked ever since, man. Love what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Interesting how things progress, because at the time that seemed so critically important to get them to admit that they beg the question of R and just assume it. Obviously, since then, I think Ute has dug out a few other clips from the debate where people like Rumpus have also admitted it. But obviously, who's Rumpus? Who cares, right? Mick West, on the other hand, when you get him to admit, oh, well, yeah, we're just assuming R, it's just the standard model, that obviously is a slightly more important moment, or it seemed so. You fast forward a couple of years, and where are we now? Well, we've debunked R. So that seems a bit less relevant now, right? Well, who cares? Yeah, we've proved that they assumed it, but from then on in, they just admitted that they assumed it, and we ended up in a draw anyway. Well, we say with the assumption of R, because obviously we're on a sphere, we know. Then all of these extrapolations in the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator apply, because I assume R. And you're like, how is that a defense? But that's how things rolled, didn't it? They just admitted that they just assumed R. Because they had to, they had no choice at that point. But now their assumption has been debunked. So it's like, yeah, assume it all you like. We can't say anymore, just round that out with one sentence. We can't say, in R you trust, because you can't trust in R anymore. We've debunked it.
They still managed to find a way to assume it. Even with the Black Swan, even with Coriolis thing, it's always spinning to begin with. Never with Zanuck going back and forth, it's always initially spinning. You're always on a spinning reference frame, no matter what you do. Same thing with the radius. It's always the delta x and not the x. Gas pressure. It's all the same MO with these guys.
Have gas pressure without a container then, Nathan?
Pardon? Sorry, I had to refresh Discord.
Still don't understand how you can have gas pressure without a container then?
Show us.
What's your answer? What was that?
Sorry, mumble. Can you show us?
Yeah, we're atmosphere. Just look outside.
Sorry, without using your fundamentalist religious assertion that the sky is a vacuum, by begging the question that the sky is a vacuum. Beyond your religious belief, can you show us? Can you show us beyond your religious belief?
Measure it. There are all sorts of experiments showing there's a vacuum up there. Even
Experiments?
flatties.
Why you want to get
Even
into...
flatties have sent up balloons up there and it's shown to be a vacuum.
Okay, what experiment? What was it called?
Even flatties have sent up pressure detecting balloons and they found the pressure goes to almost zero.
That's
and
not
then
an experiment,
the
though, is
balloon
it?
can't get any higher.
Sorry, that's not an experiment, though, is it?
It's an observation.
So that's not an experiment then, as you said earlier when you said there's experiments. You've gone on to detail something you're claiming as an observation.
I can argue it is an experiment because they've changed the height. So in other words, they've conducted
Height's not a variable.
variation.
Height's not an independent variable. Shut up, you're a moron. Shut up. Height's not an independent variable, moron. Shut up. Height's not an independent variable, you stupid moron.
Of course it is, you twat.
No, it's not. Varying height doesn't cause anything. You're not going to establish the cause of something. The cause of that gas pressure wasn't your height. That's stupid, and it's not an independent variable. Varying height will not cause anything ever. This is not an experiment.
Change your height, the pressure changes.
Yeah, that's not a variable that's caused that change in pressure. It's not causing it.
The pressure you
That's a correlation. I'm not going to say this 16 times, right? Correlating you moving up and a change in pressure isn't the cause of the change in pressure. How many more bloody times have I got to say this? Number one, even if it was, this isn't an independent variable. Number two, it's not an experiment. We're not varying it to cause it.
What you measure as a...
So it's not an experiment then. Just give me one concession. We're not doing an experiment, are we?
Well, if you want to talk about... If you had a gripe...
No, I want you to concede at least once, you pathetic weasel. You've just said when we do a measurement. You started off by saying when we do an experiment. Now you've changed, and I want you to concede that you've now changed your tune from experiment, making it sound like it's empirical. That's what you bastards do. You hijack this term, experiment, to make your bullshit sound plausible, to make it sound like it's empirical. But you've just gone on to say you're taking a measurement. Now, we won't be making a measurement of a second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum in this. That will be assumed. And it's not an experiment. You're not going to get away with utilising these scientific terms to lend credence to your bullshit. It's not an experiment, right, Rumpus?
And observation is part of science.
Sorry, it's step one. Well, the last step in that process is experiment. This is not that.
You don't understand the science.
No, that's it. Bye-bye. Ad hom me. Piss off. I don't understand. I understand this isn't an experiment. It's just a measurement, as you've conceded. But because you're a globehead weasel and pathetic, you cannot actually concede that you've made a claim of science to lend credence to your bullshit. Now, you're never going to measure a vacuum of the sky. That's a second law of thermodynamics violation. Don't ad hom me that I don't understand when I'm detailing the fact that you don't have an experiment when you're claiming you have science. This isn't that. It's just a measurement, and you'll measure pressure decreasing, but you won't ever measure the sky vacuum. That's never going to occur. So, not ever going to measure your claim that the sky is a vacuum. Only a pressure differential which you will extrapolate out and claim that based on that difference, lowering as you go higher, that there's going to be a sky vacuum eventually. No, that violates natural law. You can't have the gas pressure in the first instance without the container. Notice that also Rumpus came here and said, you don't understand how we do have gas pressure without a container. He didn't demonstrate it. He simply asserted his fundamentalist religious belief that the sky was a vacuum. That's what he did. Punted his religion here after saying that I don't understand. What I don't understand his religious rhetoric that he's going to chant at me by telling me the sky's a vacuum as proof that the sky is a vacuum. Is this your standard, fundies? Just say it and it's so? No. Just an assertion that the sky is a vacuum doesn't prove we've got a sky vacuum. An assertion that you've got experiments when you claim that you're going to measure a differential to extrapolate out a sky vacuum is definitely not science and definitely doesn't prove we've got a second law of thermodynamics violation right above our heads in the form of a sky vacuum.
So Rumpus is saying measurement is the cause now?
It's not. I went through that. He didn't concede that either. That's why he's been kicked out. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes trying to get one concession out of him when he's blatantly said, we can do experiments. And then when I say this isn't, he goes on to say it's an observation and refuses to concede that he's used a little magic trick to convince my audience that he's got empiricism with his bullshit. He hasn't. And he won't concede that, making him pathetic.
Hey Nathan, I got the ideal gas law on screen. Can you show me where height is a variable in gas pressure? Can you show me that from this equation?
PV equals nRT, right? Yeah, there it is.
Hey Nathan, you gotta entertain the rumpus. He's been shown everywhere. He just like rumpusing. Nobody likes him anymore. Only you, Randy.
He's tolerable for a short period of time until he gets beaten, and then he's intolerable.
He's been horrible. He's been like horrible. The past few months, every time he jump in, everywhere I see him, he just doesn't have it anymore. He's not a people person. He's never been.
Got a bit of crap from QE the other day, Jose, for not being a reasonable moderator. However, I saw a trimmed out clip, not much to go on, by Emma and Emma UK, the channel name. And in that clip, you were extremely even-handed, I felt. So just want to give you props.
I appreciate that, yeah. I'm trying to keep my cool. You know who's been very active lately is Rocky Alive. Sorry, I'm eating by that. Rocky Alive has been very active the past 2 weeks or so in my chat. Like hot, going on 10, 15 people. And I'm on his side as for like, I'm not gonna just let one guy taking a beat from 10 other guys. So I'm right next to him. He's trying to keep our cool. He's a decent guy. I like Rocky.
Hey, Jose,
very nice bloke.
Rumpus is suffering from post-Black Swan traumatic syndrome, I think.
Sorry, Tent Man, you broke up a little bit from my end.
I said the nuances that you're seeing in Rumpus is caused by post-traumatic Black Swan syndrome.
Probably. You know, the thing is, from my point of view, that I'm not an expert, a debater, a very educated guy. I see the Rumpus, and if Nathan Oakley asks him a question, the Rumpus like say, yeah, I got the answer and I got the scientific evidence. When I mean, from my point of view, what I have seen is that, for example, yourself, Nathan Oakley, you have the question formulated in a way that after me looking for this in a few years, I said that's from my point of view a broken question. It could be a better formulated question. It's a little bit of a play of words that is going to be on your side. There's not going to be an answer for the Glober, but the Rumpus said like, yes, I got the scientific evidence and I got the answer. So what you talking about, the Rumpus? Come on, that's my point of view.
What do you mean by that? You mean asking a legitimate question, can it be backed by true science, is not the right way to ask?
I'll give you an example. The one I just heard 5 minutes ago. Any evidence of a gas pressure next to I know I heard two words: the sky and vacuum. I say so. In the sky, you got the vacuum space. So sorry. What is the sky? I need definition for the sky and a vacuum. I don't believe there's a vacuum up there whatsoever. Hell no. I know there's People call it a vacuum, the term, but it's a very, very low pressure system. So I say zero pressure system or below zero will be a vacuum, but it's not a vacuum because it's just a very low pressure system.
You
10
can't.
to the minus 17.
Hold
Thor?
on. Just a couple of quick corrections. You can't have below zero.
Yeah, maybe you don't. So then you cannot have a vacuum will be zero pressure or less. So if we don't have less, we don't have a zero. 10 to the minus 17 Thor is just a very low pressure system.
Okay, so if we compare it to one of those vacuums that they have where they've got 8-foot thick walls and they suck out all the air that's inside them, and they're trying to get as much as humanly possible out by the levels they go to contain the vacuum that they're producing. You ever seen one of those? 8-foot thick walls, big massive steel door that takes 3 people to open. You ever seen one of them?
Gigantic. I saw like 2 clips of those. Those are huge. Yeah.
You realise that you've seen them, right? Great. So you know that they're massive, great, big, thick containers. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Well, inside one of those, the maximum, the most we've got to in terms of a Tor value you can attribute to a vacuum would be 10 to the minus 8 Tor on Earth in one of those chambers. But the sky is claimed to be 10 to the minus 17 Tor, many orders of magnitude less particles in the space available. So on Earth, 10 to the minus 8 is the most we can achieve with really thick walls. Yet the sky, that's what, many orders of magnitude more? Seems farcical to just say, oh, it's just a lower pressure system. Well, what, lower than that vacuum that we can create with 6-foot thick walls? Orders of magnitude, less particulates, i.e. a stronger vacuum, if you want to phrase it in such a ham-handed way. More of a vacuum.
Yeah, I understand your point, and it's hard to put it in your brain, the explanation.
Sure.
Well, then,
Well, just with
hang
I'll
on,
just
okay,
hold on.
Can I get?
I just want to round it out with a question. That massive chamber, when all the red sirens are going off and it's wow, 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 and they're depressurizing and everyone's all looking at all the dials and the gauges and all the rest of it. Once it's depressurized and at 10 to the minus 8 Tor, would you call that a lower pressure system in that vacuum chamber?
It can be called a vacuum. It can be called, the name doesn't matter. But and on the bigger scale, without details, it's considered a vacuum. You can see it like, oh yeah, that's like they suck all the air. But
I see.
did they claim it's a perfect vacuum? As
I see.
you don't have any
I get it.
particulates.
I understand. So when it's on Earth and it's being created in something called a vacuum chamber, then we're all right to call that a vacuum as opposed to a lower pressure system. They've definitely evacuated all the gas, to as much an extent as they can, and we'd call that a vacuum. But when it's orders of magnitude more of a vacuum, i.e. what they claim the sky is, we'll just call that a lower pressure system, will we? It seems ludicrous. It's just a vacuum of the sky. But that was your objection initially.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit less, but orders of magnitude, it sounds like very big. It's within one degree is this 0.8, 0.9, 10 to the 0.17. You can have 10 to the negative, I don't know, 100 maybe, just making that shit up. But it's within one. It's in between one. It's like from 1 to 2 seconds, you can have 1.5 seconds, 1.51, 1.52. So if you got 1.5 seconds versus 1.67 seconds, orders of magnitude, it's a very tiny amount.
Do you know how magnitudes work? So when you're taking off 100th of a second or 1,000th of a second, that's one order of magnitude. From 100th to 1,000th, that's one order. Well, I'm saying it's many, many orders more than we can achieve on Earth in a vacuum chamber. But your objection is you're calling it a sky vacuum when it's just a lower pressure system, even though it's orders of magnitude more than we can achieve in a vacuum chamber.
I understand your point now more specifically. I just was addressing the people when they hear orders of magnitude, they say like, holy shit, people that is still their brain is processing like me when I came to the flat earth and learned the globe through the flat earth eyes. Some of these details I heard, I said like, holy shit, this is big, like how didn't I realize these orders of magnitude of a vacuum up there when it's just a very tiny, I mean, it's just the amount is very small. Yeah, it's orders of magnitude, but it's not as dramatic as you make it sound.
Well, it doesn't exist. You started this by saying you don't believe the sky is a vacuum. I mean, it's not really that relevant what you believe. It's just their rhetoric. That's just the heliocentric rhetoric you, on occasion, choose to defend.
Jose, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. I got like 2 minutes. I gotta walk my dogs.
No,
I can come
it'll be
back for
real
like
quick.
5
It'll be
minutes.
real quick,
But
and it's
I'll
on
answer your question.
topic.
Go ahead, Tenth.
It's on topic. All right. You've seen that video of the railroad car container that's like an empty tank, and then they put a very nominal vacuum cleaner type of thing, and they take the air out and it collapses on itself. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you realize that the so-called space shuttle and ISS and things like that, I think the ISS is the one I'm referring to, is like three really thin layers of aluminum, and where they're supposed to be would be greater than that nominal vacuum, and it's not collapsing on itself, versus that thing made out of steel on Earth with a nominal vacuum. Doesn't that give you pause?
No, not anymore. Just because I don't
No?
understand it, because I don't understand the materials or the work that have been going through it, the testing, I'm not gonna just deny it.
Deny it? What do you mean, just deny it?
Deny the implications. What Tenth Man is trying to say, like, do you see, like, if this happened on Earth, that means I'm gonna just deny everything that I see on the skies, that there's no rockets, there's no devices, anything going very high up in the sky with very low pressure system, with the air getting thinner
And
until
coming
very
down
thin
again?
air.
I wasn't asking you
Hold
to
on.
deny
Can you just
rockets
let him
going
answer?
up somewhere.
Guys. Go ahead, Jose.
No, that was it. I was done having a drink.
Yeah, there you go again, calling it a lower pressure system.
Yeah, I'll call it a vacuum for the audience entertainments.
But if it was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space.
Yeah, if it was from like 14.7 psi to like a 10 to minus 17 torr divided by a freaking hard line. But it's in scales, the air getting thinner until it's as thin as 10 to the minus 17 torr, in just very gradually. It's not going to go hard from one point to another.
No, that's a second law of thermodynamics violation. If there's a space for the gas to fill, the gas will fill it. That's its nature. Gas expands to fill the volume it has to fill. So it's not going to just dissipate into very little as you go higher. We're a tiny, tiny little dot, Earth, in the heliocentric system, in a massive, massive, massive vacuum, 10 to the minus 17 torr. So it's not that Earth, this tiny little speck of dust in an infinite soup of nothingness, that would be 10 to the minus 17 torr, as seen from the ground, our sky. Well, no, the gas would fill the space. The gas we have would just evacuate immediately from our little tiny speck of dot in the soup of nothingness. There's so much space to fill, the gas is just going to fill it instantly if it's at pressure. So therefore, the sky cannot be a vacuum. It can't just be slowly gradiated down to 10 to the minus 17 torr from our little tiny dot in this vacuum. That's not possible. That violates natural law.
Can I ask Jose some questions? Two couple questions, Jose. You know what a microstate is?
I can listen for the next 5 minutes, but I cannot talk.
Determine gas pressure.
5 minutes, I cannot talk.
You can ask your question, Paul, but he's got to go and walk his dog, so he may not reply, but go ahead.
Okay. Jose, do you know what a microstate is? And also, do you know what the factors are that determine gas pressure?
He's walking his dogs.
Fair enough. We may not find out if he knows what a microstate is.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
I don't. What is a microstate? I mean, I've never heard this term. What do you mean by this microstate? What the hell is that, Paul?
Basically, within entropy or second law of thermodynamics, gases or energy wants to fill all available locations. A microstate is like a location, basically. So gases and energy want to occupy all available volume. And what's the volume of the sky again? What's the microstates of the sky?
Enormous levels of microstates available to it in the sky vacuum, Paul.
Okay, so according to entropy, the gas would fill the space, increasing the entropy of the gas.
Well, they're asserting the opposite, though, aren't they? They're saying entropy isn't increasing. They're violating natural law by asserting that it just gradiates up to 10 to the minus 17 torr, because what the top of the gradient is, in your description, is a whole load of microstates available.
And also, within the gas law, height has nothing to do with the gas pressure. So for any of the other variables that are changed, then the pressure of the gas would change, correct?
Correct.
So density, the mass of the gas, all those factors would determine the pressure of the gas. Of course, if the volume's higher, that's the biggest factor, even in the gas law. The bigger the volume, the lower the pressure. So what's the volume of the sky again?
I don't have the number to hand. It's very big. According to them.
Density. You got density, temperature, and types of gases.
Exactly.
It's interesting how Jose took my question and changed it as to rockets not going up in space, which I never mentioned rockets in my question.
I think the reason he goes there because he understands the implications.
Yeah, but this is the trick of the ballers or anybody that isn't straightforward answering a question that was given very straightforward. My question had to do with a steel tanker that collapsed on itself. The walls of that tanker are much thicker than what's supposed to be up there in the so-called vacuum of space.
Can I ask a question?
And yeah, go ahead.
What if that steel car was already in a vacuum? Not that it's, you know what I'm trying to say?
What if what wasn't? What if the steel container was what at equal pressure on both sides of the container?
Yeah. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
If there's no, if what's causing the damage is the pressure of the particulates that are pressing on it, banging on it, if you like, smacking into it, yeah. And how much smacking's going on is how much pressure there is, how many times a particle hits that container. Well, if there's no particles involved, nothing's hitting it to crush it. So it doesn't matter if you've got, what did Jose call it earlier? A very low pressure system on both sides, or to put it another way, if it's in a vacuum, then that makes no difference to it because it's not got anything on one side trying to push out or on the other side trying to push in.
Okay.
Right. But the design of if I may for a second, the design of a gas tanker like that, though, is specifically designed to keep gas in, more pressure inside than on the outside. So,
no, I don't dispute that. But I'm just saying that if you haven't got a difference, the differential is what's going to cause the damage. So if you've got a box that isn't designed to contain gas pressure, or a balloon, far easier. You blow up a balloon, you're putting pressure in it, and it's forcing its way out as you put more breath into it, and therefore it expands the balloon because the pressure increases. Well, that's the gas forcing its way out as the pressure increases in the balloon, making the balloon bigger. It's putting more pressure on it. But it's the differential. So when you've got a balloon just in your hand and you haven't blown in it yet, the pressure on both sides of the balloon, inside and out, is identical. So it's not doing anything until you change one side of the pressure, cause a differential, and that'll blow up the balloon. Likewise, if it's the other way round, if you've got a box that's not very strong and you suck out all of the air, suddenly all of the gas that's on the outside of the box is bashing the box trying to get in, and that could crush the box. The point of all of this, the whole point of that is, if we're in a pressurized system, we're describing the former rather. So you're describing gas inside a container bouncing off all the walls trying to get out. Yeah? Now, if you've got no containment whatsoever to press upon to try and get out through, like a bottle at higher pressure in our environment, obviously still describing a differential, but if you've only got the pressure trying to get out from a container, then you can measure inside that container how much force is being exerted on the walls of the container. Well, in the case of the heliocentric religion, there isn't even a container. There's nothing to press upon. There's nothing to stop the gas fill in the space, and fill it must. It's natural law. So there's no container to keep the gas pressure here. Just a vast empty space for it to fill. And that's precisely what it would want to do. Occupy all available microstates, right, Paul?
Exactly. And hold on a second, let me turn this off. And the other thing too, if you think about it, if you reduce the temperature of the gas, how much pressure is involved? Sometimes, like if you put a balloon in a freezer, what happens to the balloon? It collapses because you're reducing the kinetic energy, so you have less pressure. So there's other factors involved that can reduce pressure, guys. Come on now.
Ultimately speaking, to have gas pressure, you must have a container. I'll use a quote from a chap on our opposing side called Conspiracy Cats. Quote, "Without the container, there can be no pressure." End quote. Conspiracy Cats, 2019. That's a fact. It's natural law. You can't have gas pressure without a container. And the sky has no containment between the gas we're breathing, that's definitely real, and their claim, not proven, just an assumption, that there's a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum above our heads. Hello, Quantum Eraser.
Will this make the Earth isolated system? Because the second law of thermodynamics will be working on an isolated system, right?
There are no isolated systems, Jose. That's merely a convention derived to describe the law in a more simplistic way.
That's fair enough. Thank you.
Can you tell us the difference between atmospheric pressure and gas pressure?
Also, I was going to ask Jose, where was that second
hold on,
law
Paul.
discovered?
Yeah,
Hold on. Hold on.
I might.
Go on, Jose.
Air you breathe, atmospheric pressure, a mix of many different gases. Air is a gas that you breathe, and atmospheric pressure is the atmospheric pressure is just a mix of all the gases. Whatever.
Sorry.
We breathe that.
What's the difference between the two? The air I breathe is the same thing, right?
It's a gas, yeah. And then the mix of many gases. I mean, actually, it's a few gases that you breathe. So, all right, I'm not going to be able to define those two for you. All right, just you give me your point, and then I'll address you back. Or are you going to make fun of me because I cannot maybe define those two?
And it's not defining; it's the difference between them. What's the difference?
Oh, I'm not sure. I didn't make that point. I'm just asking being asked a random question out of nowhere.
That's
So I
not a
don't have the
random
answer to that question.
It's not, hold on a second. It's not a random question. Wait a second. You said that you're not going to be able to discuss that on your channel anymore. We have you recorded.
This is today. This is here, Huey.
I'm not done yet. The difference between atmospheric and gas pressure. You said that you're not going to have that anymore. We just went over this about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but this is today and now, Huey.
Oh, so it changes on the day. I got it.
Yes, we evolve every day. We're humans. We change every single day. Yes, sir.
What's evolve mean?
He's just dropped that into. He's baiting you.
I love it. Do you know the difference between open, closed, and isolated systems?
Yeah, I can give you a dumbed down answer. Isolated, there's no exchange of matter or energy. Closed system, there's only exchange of energy, not exchange of matter. And open system, there is exchange of matter and energy.
Not bad.
All right. I didn't hear that. Of course, you overtalked me the whole time. Is Earth an open, closed, or isolated system?
Well, last time I heard everybody is saying like, yeah, Earth is just an open system. Period. No more discussions. Also, like, I'm neither here or there. I don't care if Earth isn't open or closed. I know that rockets go out. I guess it's open, So I agree with them when they say it's an open system.
So how can you have gas pressure in an open system next to a vacuum?
There's no vacuum. It's a very low pressure system. It goes gradually getting thinner and thinner and lower until it's very low pressure system.
You don't know
what you call the vacuum.
Excuse me. These are defined. You have high vacuums, ultra high vacuums, extremely high vacuums, outer space. The high vacuum goes from 10 to the -3 torr to outer space at 10 to the -17 torr. So they're defined as vacuums. What are you talking about? Here, I'll show you.
I didn't know this. This arbitrary
I'll show you.
classification. Go ahead. It's
Right on
screen.
your alma mater wiki. Are you sharing this, Nathan?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Here, let me make it bigger. You see this? Goes from atmospheric pressure to low. You see this word? Vacuum, medium vacuum, high vacuum, ultra high vacuum, extremely high vacuum, outer space, and a perfect vacuum, which can't be reached. See?
So just for clarity, the most we can achieve here on Earth is a high vacuum, which is between 10 to the -3 and 10 to the -9. It's quite small. I might be misreading that. Is that correct?
No. 10 to the -6 torrs, Plumbrook Station, Sandusky, Ohio, with 8-foot thick walls.
That's 10 to the -6, did you say?
Yes.
And is that a high vacuum? It's just too small for me to read.
Yeah, it's high. Yeah, this is 10 to the -3 torr to 10 to the -9 torr for a high vacuum. Yes.
So to qualify it, when I say orders of magnitude, which Jose took objection to, you've got a high vacuum being the most you can achieve, which I was incorrect, not 10 to the -8, 10 to the -6. And then you've got ultra high vacuum, extremely high vacuum, and then outer space as the classifications between it. So more of a vacuum. So we can definitely call these things vacuums, and calling it the sky vacuum is perfectly accurate, given that that's what they claim is up there. It isn't, because the gas would fill that space. The gas we're breathing, we definitely have gas pressure. We wouldn't, though, if the sky was a vacuum. And, they just call it outer space. It doesn't have vacuum after it. But a lesser vacuum would be an extremely high vacuum. So, yeah. Sky is not a vacuum.
Yeah, so. Anything to say?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I heard the last 1 minute a little bit. I had to run close to the router to get my signal back.
No worries, I'll just summarize it in 30 seconds. So you said, no, it's a lower pressure system. Well, no, the lowest vacuum that you were happy to call a vacuum, even though they're all classified as vacuums, was a high vacuum. That's what we can achieve here on Earth. And then between that and outer space, you've got ultra high vacuum, extremely high vacuum, and then outer space above that. So when I say orders of magnitude and vacuum, I don't see why you've got an objection to that. Probably because it's just not real, but you've got to defend it anyway, maybe, because you're still a globehead.
No, yeah, not defending it. It's the way I really see it now. I can visualize it in my mind. I can think in a bigger scale, and I really can see it. I see it as dots, all the dots very thick. It looks solid on the ground where we breathe, and then it's getting less. Then you can see the dots getting separated, and the higher you go up through the layers, then you see less dots and dots until it's get just a few handful of dots. And then when you are looking outside, you can see this thick layer around the earth, and then you see this random 1, 2, 3 dots. I can see it on my brain. I can visualize it in a scale. It's a personal decision to be able to see it or not.
I see. So can you see? It's okay. Hold on. Can you see my screen with Superman on it?
I had to close the internet because
okay, no worries. I got a screenshot.
Posted it in Discord.
I got a screenshot of Superman when it's just before he starts turning the world the wrong way, and in that screenshot, you've got all of these clouds, and then you've got this little layer on the geometric physical sphere edge horizon that's been debunked by the Black Swan. We've got that little layer there. And then we've got this black bit. Obviously, we've got the sun over here, but we've also got this black bit. And that black bit, next to this gas pressure here, is claimed to be 10 to the minus 17 torr. So here we are with gas pressure, and here we are with a sky vacuum. Now, I'm not saying that obviously this Superman screenshot is any less or more valid than the NASA pictures they give us. Let's face it, they're pretty much the same. But ultimately speaking, we've got 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum here and high pressure here. That seems like a natural law violation to me. I mean, I could be wrong.
Isn't science and earth and nature a hell of a drug? It's beautiful, right? How mysterious things work. I love it, man. I like it.
Not really.
We don't
That's deep.
something real quick.
But the thing
Hold
is,
on. We need to define what a vacuum is and define what differential pressure is.
Yeah, I don't have a dictionary, and I know that's your goal, Paul. I appreciate that. I mean, it's good. People like, doing this definition game. I can't. You guys know I can't. And
definition
if you
game,
want to
yeah,
just
it's called-
define
it's
this,
called
I'm out of the
Socratic
conversation because
method. This
cute.
definition game is called the Socratic method. Are you aware of that?
Sorry, you
And if you're
were
saying
speaking
a vacuum,
and you
differential
interrupted the
pressure-
middle of
Hold
that.
on, Paul. Hold on. He said he doesn't know, and he knows your question, Paul. So that's your answer. He doesn't know how to define it. He hasn't got a dictionary. But now we're explaining why that's important. You've been asked if you understand what the Socratic method is, Jose. Have you heard that term before?
I heard the term. I don't know exactly, what it is.
It's describing semantics, if you will.
Okay, yeah, understand. Yeah, this is a big part of this discussion on the shape of the Earth, and that's why I never categorized me as a debater. I can engage in the little discussion back and forth, but when this definition, define this, define that, I say like I'm gonna have to slightly step out because that's not my thing. I cannot.
Yeah, because you like
debate like
mean
that.
things.
over there like to make shit up.
Let me ask him just
Hold
one
on a
question.
second, Paul. Yeah, the Socratic method. It's the method we use to get at truth so we can communicate. So everyone's on the same sheet of music. So when you're defining an apple, when you're talking about an apple, I'm not thinking about an orangutan because that is just common sense. We won't be able to communicate if we're off the sheet of music right from Jump Street. So Socrates
Off the top of my
came
head,
up
I
with
got
a
two
method
definitions.
to
There's a fruit
define
and there's also a
terms.
technological,
Don't overtalk
company
me.
called Apple. Yeah, that's gonna
Don't
be like really
overtalk
easy.
me.
Jose, why are you over talking him? I don't get it.
Oh no, I gave a quick explanation, and I know that Apple used two things at least.
So bottom line, we use the Socratic method, especially in science, to keep people from making shit up. You follow? And let me ask you another question. Why? Do you understand
wasn't that a question?
means?
Was a statement? Okay.
You understand what two-face means? You and your boys talk about Nathan and us over here like we're friggin' dogs. And then you come in here all happy and stuff, right? Like no problem, right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, isn't it?
No, okay, I can answer that. I didn't come in to talk about these personal issues. I can try to talk a little bit about the topics on hands, the housekeeping questions. So that's what we're doing now. You want to talk about the drama,
and
then you want to say that I've been slandering you. I was talking, QE. You want to talk about the bowlers being slandering you and insulting you when you are the one every time you go, Jose retard.
Get your ass back over to your retard channel.
You see, Nathan, that's what's up. He cannot allow a person to finish a statement when somebody is giving a fair point.
You're two-faced lowlife, dude. That has no science acumen or common sense to speak of.
And that's fair, so you can do it, but then when other people try to insult you and call you names, I gotta stop and say, no, respect the gentleman. He's a very nice guy, yeah?
You're a gentleman. You're a moron.
Thank you.
Either don't necessarily exclude one another.
He might be recording.
No, I'm not recording this time.
Or not.
Yeah, no,
he probably is.
I'm not recording. I'm not interested in playing this.
Needs material.
I'm not
You've done it
recording this
before.
whatsoever. Yeah, I did before because I had an idea what was going to happen. This time I was bored. I just wanted to come in and have a chat. But I think
You wouldn't know what
Huey wants
science
to
was.
run me out and
Landed on your face, spun around, and
slander
whistled
me, so.
Dixie. You don't even know.
Nathan, thank you for your time.
Semantics. You're talking about a vacuum, right? And you're calling it a low pressure system because that's in your mind. Who gives a shit what's in your retard mind?
And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If you are on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
He's admitted it. He said, like, I don't know how to do this thing on the level that you guys do. And he's been open about that for a while. So
what's he been saying about us? I don't watch Jose. I watch trimmed out clips that occasionally people make with poignant moments that have happened on his show, but like I say, I'm not subscribed, I don't watch him. So what's he been saying?
Okay, I didn't write them down. I didn't write all of them down, but it's your typical, laughing, calling you different name, and I don't care what he calls me, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Your typical backstabber. Then he comes over here like nothing's happening, everything's kosher and stuff. You know what we call those type of people? There's a name for those.
Two-Face.
Buddy fuckers.
Buddy fuckers. Yeah, I remember you saying this once before, buddy fuckers. In other words, the kind of guy that would leave you on the battlefield and rob all your supplies when you're left there bleeding.
Yeah. He not only would leave you on the battlefield, he'd take all your chow and your ammo. Yeah, that's what that friggin' scumbag is.
But he's no different to anybody else. We only have a lower opinion of Jose because he used to be on our side.
No, I don't have a lower opinion of him for that. I have a lower opinion of him because he's a full-on pretender clown retard, and everyone knows it. But they suck up to him because he's got a show over there. He's got a platform where these retards, I'll tell you what, if you want to hear abject retards, go over there. I'll warn you in advance. You're going to lose some serious IQ points. That Stingray Dean idiot, he's got to be a dumb fuck boy. And the headless bozo, egregious, he likes to flip the formal logical fallacy, affirming the consequent. He goes, well, just flip the premises that everything's okay. Or cut somebody's head off and they won't die. That's where you're wrong. That's the type that you're dealing with over there. So just stay over there, right? We'll take care of business over here. Okay, friend?
Nathan, I got here on your show after Jose had jumped ship. Was he as careless and loose with his research while a flat earther as he is a baller?
No, he's very hands-on. Went out and did stuff practically.
He's taking the fifth here every time we ask him a real question, like, well, this ain't my bag, or, it's my language barrier. I mean, he finds an out for everything now as a baller. I'm just wondering if he ever did that as a flat earther.
No, he was decent. He was decently hands-on.
Are you sure he wasn't just...
He was able to repeat, like, the concepts, but he still kind of is. It's just that he says himself he can't really distinguish it anymore too much. So he just compares stories. Like, I hear this from Nathan and QE, and I hear this from this guy, and just roughly weighing it. But
so he's a groupie either way.
So he's a groupie
either way.
He just doesn't know anymore. And
No,
he
so he's a
doesn't
groupie
have a
either way.
prospect of getting to know it at some point by his own sake. Just
So he
He gets
goes with the
tossed to and
crowd's
fro.
momentum.
Hmm?
He goes with the crowd's momentum. He's a groupie either way. He doesn't take personal responsibility to know something.
all right, yeah.
Okay. Well, then he's the same Jose then. He just was here riding the crest of all you guys. And now he's over there riding the crest of the ballers. But when pressed to answer a question, he doesn't know.
He'll be a plant.
He'll be who's that?
A plan.
Sounds like Alan.
Alan. I caught Alan on Jose Retard's channel too. What did you say? We have scripts. Define a script, Alan Retard.
That
What's
would
a
be what
script?
what do you call it? DITRH. He writes the scripts.
Yeah. What's a script? Like that's an argument or something. Do you understand when somebody gives a presentation, they write the information down so everyone can see it and understand it, right? You call that a script. I'll tell you what. What's the matter with your junk DNA? Let's get on that topic. Remember I told you that I'd pay to have your junk DNA removed? You still up for that? Friggin' bozo. Go back over to Jose Retard's channel too. You fit right in with them.
What was the quote about the junk DNA is where all the discoveries are now being made? What was that quote?
Yeah. Yeah. Wonder who made that citation right there. It wouldn't be the grand poobah of geneticists, the geneticist of geneticists, Dr. Craig Venter. You wouldn't know. You don't even know what DNA is. You don't even know what it is. Is he still in here? What's DNA? Give me the constituent parts of DNA.
I don't know what his name is, so I can't tell if he is or he isn't.
Well, he's real quiet now, Mr. Scripps.
I don't have a script. I never write anything down, but that's mainly because I'm lazy.
That's their argument. Well, they got scripts. Let's move on. Gas pressure's not air pressure. Yeah.
Hold up. We got a script?
Yeah.
Where did they get their mainstream narrative from? Again?
Scripts.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Good chocolate. No,
'Cause apparently they came up with the heliocentric model. Apparently.
That's correct. Chocolate saying we don't have scripts.
Copy that.
Script is
Bill
all in
Nye,
our
the
minds,
science
guys.
guy, has scripts. Have you seen? When was the last time anyone saw the beginning of Bill Nye, the Science Guy's show? Just the opening sequence alone is cringeworthy when you really think about it.
Sorry, I've got to stop this. There's nothing wrong with having a script if you're a YouTuber. If you're doing a piece to camera and it's a 10-minute video, having a script means you make a more professional video. Me personally, if I was to write a script, I'd memorize it. That's just how I was trained when I did performing arts. So I wouldn't ever be reading from a script or an auto cue. I just wouldn't do it that way because I haven't been trained to do it that way. I have very little media training. But I don't. Now, people who choose to will tend to be more polished than me. If you go and watch one of my videos where I'm just talking off the top of my head without any script, it's less professional than someone who's got a script. So I'm not going to knock people who've got scripts. More power to you. We don't, and QE has presentations as opposed to a script. A script is where you have character 1, character 2, what you're going to say. Now, if it's a monologue, it's just you. You don't need to write down the character names because it's your piece to camera. You just write down the text and what you're going to say. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you need a script to make yourself more professional, more power to you. What's wrong with that? I don't know why that's even a criticism. if we did have scripts, which I don't.
It's not a criticism. It's just nothing. It's just something they made up in their heads that they think it's some kind of, I don't know, derogatory impropriety, right? And what they're trying to say is that I shouldn't bring my research into this discussion.
Yeah, well, of course. They've got to find some ham-handed way to say, get this devastating argument off my screen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you can't bring your research into this. You have to make shit up just like us.
Yeah, the devastating
boneheads.
argument didn't come unless it was written in a script. Otherwise, it's invalid.
Yeah, it's got to be on point, but that's the problem here in the trenches. They all go off their own scripts. So script for Coriolis, Earth rotates underneath an inertial reference frame. Script in the trenches, let's talk only about the inertial reference frame and ignore all of the non-inertial turning that we should be doing. So that's not on script for them. It's completely off script.
Hey everybody.
Hey, Brian.
It's funny that they don't like defining words. That says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes. So they can make shit up. They do it all the time. Every single debate, you won't find and we're going to talk about that, Brian, on that topic we were talking about last night. Every single time, watch every single debate, you'll see people just making shit up. No one supports anything. Nothing. Zero. They just make shit up and then tell you you're wrong because you don't agree with their made up horse shit.
There is an exception to that, though. Rumpus once did give a citation.
Yeah, he did. A perfect example, textbook example of cherry picking. Right on the screen, no one said anything. They don't know what cherry picking. That's another thing. Cherry picking. I'd like to ask Jose what cherry picking is. Friggin' moron.
I remember another time when someone dropped a citation. I believe it was Brenda, who was arguing that diffraction wasn't interference. And her citation literally said just that.
Sounds familiar.
No, you're just
familiar.
No, you're just not understanding. You're not understanding what you're reading.
Now, Kosho got a citation right. He properly cited.
Oh, you already know. I pulled it out many times on him. Mr. M. Scott Reach and Kosho, they agree with what our interpretation of their nonsensical Coriolis effect is, because their citation states it bluntly. But yet, after providing such a citation, they want to argue with us about it and tell us how we don't have Coriolis. Well, guys are just looking really silly out here. It's pretty pathetic, actually.
The citation that Fight the Flat Earth gave me the other night, I can't seem to get anything off of him about that. He won't reply to me so far anyway. I'm starting to think he wrote it himself.
Oh, he didn't use .co like everybody else?
It's not that he'll have written himself. No. He'll just found it in the depths of Google, and there's so many garbage references. I've seen references like that. So I went trawling through once because I remember, I can't remember who was pointing this out, but it might have even been Quantum Eraser, how much garbage there is if you do a Coriolis search. And I think I was making an edited video, I can't remember which one, but I went through and just searched it, and I was like, let's have a look at what it actually says to your general normie if you do a Google search for this. Now, you've only got to type Coriolis, you don't even have to type effect, and you'll get nonsense reams and reams of it, endless pages, all with pictorial diagrams and double-speak sentiment in them. So the fact that you can't dig out his at a pinch doesn't mean he's made it up. It just means he's found one that's a little bit more obscure, but that doesn't take much with Coriolis.
That's why my favorite one is the one provided to me by the ballers themselves. That's the best thing. That's why I hold on to it. Call me petty. I don't care.
Now you're a historian, Chocolate.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's just that's their citation. I agree with your citation. This nonsense is supposed to be an illusion. Thanks for providing me a citation that says that the force that you think is a force, not really a force, is actually an illusion. And then good luck telling us how that illusion creates storms.
Yeah, how does
That's
an
a good time.
how does an observation cause things? I'm still waiting for that one.
What about this
Well,
one? Sorry, off you go, Chocolate.
No, I was just gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
Oh, jokes are good. All right. What about this one? They're always talking about how gravity is holding gas pressure, right? As they call it, atmospheric pressure. This nonsense.
No,
For the
Anthony
whole...
convinced them of that.
Sorry?
No, they did not before Anthony convinced them of that.
All right. Well, what I was going to say, what I was going to say about it, I said it in a comment there recently to one of them. You need something that's dense enough to hold a gas. So, and it needs to be at least denser than gas to hold gas in any way. So, what is the density of gravity? And on top of that, if they're going to be measuring time, that means time needs to be some kind of physical. So, what is the density of time?
We'll find out next time.
On bullshit out of your ass at will.
It's an appropriate question, and the silence that followed it is also just as appropriate.
Is it a shoe?
Oh, here we go. Go ahead, Alan. Don't be timid.
He said shoe.
One word. I'm shocked that he could get that out with a help from fleet of slobber nurses. Tell him good job for us.
Are you going to tell us how that shoe is somehow a naturally observed phenomenon? I like how you laugh. Yeah.
QE, did you say we got a gradient of vacuum in space?
I'm sorry. Was I just addressed by a retard? You're going to have to somebody's going to have to translate that for me.
It was me. Did you say we have got different vacuum levels in space?
No.
Vacuum
There is no
level.
space and there is no vacuum.
I don't think that's Alan.
No, it's Brian.
Really?
That chart you put up with the different levels of vacuums.
Sure.
How does that work?
I didn't hear him. What was his question?
It's arbitrary, so it's just giving it in a classification that's attached to the actual numbers. So how much in Tor from a scale up to absolutely zero, no particulate matter whatsoever, down to actual, atmospheric pressure. The scale in between has just been separated with words, but it's completely arbitrary.
You mean nonsense?
Doesn't make it
no.
It doesn't make it nonsense. It makes it arbitrary. The scale that's attached to the numbers is absolutely qualifiable and measurable, but the terms that are attached to it, this ultra high vacuum, that's arbitrary, completely arbitrary. It just doesn't really mean anything. Just words to describe what that mathematical value could be when it's between something and something. And if it's between those two things, it suddenly becomes an ultra-high vacuum. Well, that's just arbitrary.
It's a human convention, but it's used to communicate. So we're all on the same sheet of music when somebody says it's just a low pressure system, it's not a vacuum. No, not according to our convention. It is a vacuum and it's defined. Follow?
Just a very low pressure system. That's all.
that changes with no molecules.
And then you have the epitome of ignorance when educated and corrected continue on their same level. See, that person can't learn anything. We term those people as rockheads. Delusional rockheads, as a matter of fact.
Jose,
I want
you said
Jose, I want
you
to
said
know.
with a low pressure system. How do we have any of this pressure, man? Like, I don't even believe I have to ask you this.
I actually think that's a very interesting question. How can that exist in with a dome? Where the air come from? If there's some kind of container above it, and I got so many questions about this
I see
system of
containers
Earth
with
if the Earth was flat.
with gas
I
all
got
the
so many
time.
questions.
Yeah, that's a good question because I see containers that have gas in it all the time. What I don't
No,
see is gas pressure
No.
contained
You
without
missed
a
his
container.
point. No, hold on a second, Chocolate. You missed his point. He's saying, how could there be gas pressure inside the container? How did the gas pressure get inside the container? Through the dome. That's the level that we're at here.
It's formed at ground
I mean,
level,
that's
Jose.
your claim. Your claim is that there's a
It's
dome,
formed at
there's a
ground
container
level.
containing the air.
Not from us.
That's
We
your
don't
claim.
claim a
So
dome.
I wonder, where did the air come
Jose, we're not
from? I mean,
claiming a
It
dome.
where's
doesn't
the
matter whether
origin?
it's a dome,
Hold on.
whatever
Everyone
it
calm
is.
down. He's asking a question. Just let him ask his question and then let him have an answer. What's wrong with that? Ask your question again, hopefully uninterrupted, please, Jose.
Yeah, I actually had questions, but if the Earth is a closed, whatever, if the Earth is got to be contained, I guess there's some kind of a container of either solid or I guess it's got to be solid because you cannot think it's some kind of a force involved. Where do the air come from? How do we breathe? And why do they get lower?
No worries. Okay, hold on.
Because it's measurable.
Hey, everyone, hold
It's
on.
measurable.
Okay, let's just summarize his question. His question is, you're asserting that there must be some sort of container. Yeah, it's an antecedent consequent relationship. There must be a container to have gas pressure. That's correct. It's not a claim. It's an antecedent consequent relationship between gas pressure and containment as described in natural law and gas law. So PV equals nRT. The V would be the volume of the container that the gas is in. So these aren't claims. These are inviolable natural laws that you're never going to defy, as opposed to a claim I'm just making up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, how is gas produced? Well, plants produce it, and other things, microalgae on sea and all sorts of other crazy stuff, organisms. Things produce gas. Organisms on the ground produce it. Did you not know that?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, trees create, gases and all that stuff. Yeah.
So, given that you understand that gas is created by these organisms, if for the sake of argument, you're back a bazillion years ago and you've got, magically out of nothing, you've got the first ever organism organising itself into a way that it can suddenly process a gas, and it releases that very first gas particle. Why would that very first gas particle not just go away forever and never return? Why would it stay here in violation of how gas behaves?
I don't know. Will all go to the what you want me to make a story up or something? I don't know what it's gonna make sense.
I mean, I can make a story up. I mean, our story, Chocolate's about to tell. I can just tell. Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, I'm just confused, Jose. It makes more sense to you that we're in some form of a vacuum, and somehow we can attain this gas pressure here. That makes more sense to you than just actually having some form of a container and having the gas pressure in it.
I haven't seen evidence of this gas, this container, unless, if you want to visualize it
You're
and
breathing
formulate
it.
it somehow that you have, exactly, that's the only way you can have a container, but formulate it in certain way, but there's no evidence of it. I want to see a picture, I want to see a video, I want to see something of this container that we
But you don't want to see a picture of the Earth, though.
We have seen
Can I
thousands,
take
millions, probably.
All right.
Can I take
You
this?
haven't seen evidence of escape. You have special circumstances of gas pressure without a container, and you don't have the verified evidence of it. You're going in the wrong direction, buddy.
I'd like to ask Jose a
opinion.
question.
Oh my
Jose.
God.
Wait, no, hang on. John, just bear with me. Jose, you said earlier that you said there's less dots of particles or something that you said earlier in your description earlier. Can you prove that there's less stuff up there? What is your evidence of less gas? Please.
Any tools, even airplanes, higher up the mountains, the higher you go, the lower the pressure goes. And that can be measurable up to hot air balloons that even flat earthers have thrown.
Well,
Very
see,
lower
that's a
pressure
differential
system. The
pressure.
higher you
A
go,
vacuum
the
means
lower the
less
pressure
stuff.
becomes.
That's a differential pressure. Your vacuum means less stuff or no stuff. What's your evidence that there's less stuff up there?
The evidence is the higher you go, the less it goes. To the higher the mountain, a little less. To the airplane high, a little less. Higher airplanes, less. Hot air balloons, a little less. The higher you
Why
go,
is it
the less
here
pressure
at all?
goes.
Not how less it gets. Why is it here if we're surrounded by a vacuum, Jose? You understand that that's the problem. Come on, man.
That's
and also
your problem.
in
That's
gas
your
law,
problem.
altitude has nothing to do with gas law. And also it has a lot to do with the amount of stuff, the volume of the stuff, and the temperature of the stuff. So
Actually, that's a good
just
word.
because
The
there's less
amount of the
pressure
volume,
up there, can you
like
tell me that
Earth,
there's less stuff up there?
like it's gigantic, it's really big, and you cannot recreate what happens on a scale, Earth scale, issue in a little laboratory. You cannot create that. You gotta see it as the whole picture, as the Earth.
Good
It
point.
just
Good
is.
point. So where's the continuous video and the overwhelming evidence of it then? That's what you should be worried about. You got partial
Jose.
trickery ass video, bro, selling you a fucking dream.
Jose, in 5 years of flat Earth, nobody has been able to show me at what elevation that our atmosphere goes into the -4 values. Nobody. And I've asked countless people who've made this claim. Nobody's been able to do it. You know why? Because it doesn't.
Could we get back to his original? Could we get back to his original assertion that no one's showed him a container? Everyone just whistled by that, right? Asking more questions.
No, I didn't. I told him that I'm breathing. You're actually breathing the evidence of the container.
I wasn't
No need to
blaming
see
you,
it.
Chocolate.
No,
I'm
no,
blaming-
because I wanted to know.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
The answer to that is in the definition of gas pressure. It's a necessary antecedent consequent game. So to have gas pressure, you must have a container, right? You don't need to see that container. The very mere presence of the gas pressure tells you that there must be. Like, if it's already clearly established that to have filet mignon, a cow must exist, then if someone slaps a filet mignon down on my table, then I know with absolute certainty that that cow exists without ever seeing or needing to see cow or data for the cow. Do you follow? The gas or air pressure is the filet mignon and the container is the cow. You understand that?
Now, is it fair to say that if they say that there's special circumstances that can produce a filet mignon without a cow, they need to prove it though, right? And you're going to be open to see it.
Well, whatever that means.
I'm saying they're saying that there's a gradient and there's a vacuum of space. I just don't believe that they've proved it.
Wait a second.
I cannot pinpoint what fallacy is, but it's just a fallacy.
Hold on. Do you understand what I just said, Jose? Hello.
I'm just asking QE if he thinks it's fair.
Not
Like, is their
you!
theory at least hypothetically fair?
My God. Are you Jose?
Nah, nigga. Man, whatever.
I'm asking Jose and you're answering.
Sorry, man. I was talking to you, man. You paused.
I was asked. Oh my God. I just went through an explanation to Jose. And then I said, do you understand this, Jose? And then you come running in. Are you Jose?
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking what about everybody else, man. And then I was dressing
Relax,
you down.
QE. You're going to blow a gasket.
To Jose. We can talk right after that. Jose, do you understand the necessary antecedent consequent I just described with the cow and the filet mignon?
I understand the way you formulate that. Yes.
So, to answer your question, we don't actually have to see or physically get a piece of the container for you. The gas pressure is the evidence itself of a must of a container. That's my point.
My point is that there are so many devices that you can record, take pictures, take videos, and record any kind of measurements and get samples of, but you haven't provided any of those.
It doesn't matter. So you just whistled past my explanation and just conjured this convoluted nonsense to somehow. What do you think?
Half of the explanation.
That just kind of devastated my argument, or somehow? You think that's an answer?
Okay, I'll give you an example, just the same example. Things disappear from the bottom up. That's only and ever will be curvature because things cannot disappear from the bottom up.
Really?
Period. It's the same thing.
Not true.
Because
I have photos of
Jose,
that.
you just went back in time like I don't even know what, bro. I don't even believe you just said that.
Well,
Jose, if you stay on an hour 10 minutes, I'll put a couple of photos up of stuff disappearing from the bottom up.
Wait a
A
second.
jar
We don't need.
disappearing from the
Hold
bottom
on.
up.
Oh. He made a claim. That's a cause and effect claim, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Well, can you validate that?
define validate.
That means it's a cause and effect relationship. That means it falls into science, the scientific method. So what you have to do, you have to come up with a hypothesis and then test the alternative hypothesis so you can reject the null hypothesis. So what is your hypothesis for your claim?
Obviously not playing.
Is my mic working?
Yeah, it's just gone quiet. Unless might have had an issue with Discord. I can't hear him.
There's no issue. Crickets.
Birds.
There's no way he's going to answer any of that.
Well, you can't make an observation and just declare that's a just so story. That's what priests do. That's a religion by definition. You follow that?
I'm just letting the audience decide if just because you formulated that is the antecedent and it's true. Yeah, you don't have to provide any visual evidence of it.
Discussion.
And I disagree with
We're
that.
on to the next discussion. Cause and effect relationship. Try to focus.
Because I disagree with that. You have to provide evidence of the dome, right? You don't have to, right? But I have to provide evidence of everything.
Hold on. No. You made an interesting statement because on our side of the argument, we've looked into various different things that can cause objects to disappear from bottom up. There's all sorts of different things that can cause that. But your statement, Jose, was that can only be caused by Earth curve. Now, the reason you phrased it that way is because there is only one assertion from the globe side of the argument. It's only ever caused by Earth curve. The point that Quantum Eraser was making was that you're claiming the cause of things disappearing from bottom up is only Earth curve. So have you validated that which you claim as a causal relationship? If so, how have you validated it?
QE made a ridiculous assertion, and I made a ridiculous assertion behind him. His assertion is, I don't have to provide you any evidence because the antecedent is the container. I don't have to provide you any evidence of physical. Hey, I'm talking to you.
Retarded.
I don't have to provide you this part of visual evidence. So my part is, I'm gonna give you just a ridiculous assertion like QE did. I don't have to provide you any evidence. We're in the same boat, Nathan. Well, QE feet to the fire. Tell me to provide me any pictures, videos, or something tangible of this dome, and then I'll answer your question. Go ahead. Put QE's feet to the fire. Go ahead.
Hold on. So, no, what QE's asserting is an antecedent-consequent relationship. Do you know what an antecedent is?
Get him.
Good, Nathan.
You know what an antecedent is?
It's obvious to see the difference.
Hold on.
He's getting fed.
Getting fed, dude. If I had the camera, if I had capability of the camera, you see me where I am, and I look around and I share my whole screen, dude. I got 3 tabs.
That's wonderful.
Open.
So we could see you sat in silence. Jose, that's fascinating. Jose, that's really interesting.
So why in the fuck he say he's feeding me?
Shh,
then
chill
he's
out.
fucking misrepresenting
Can you calm down,
okay.
please? Can you calm
Okay,
down?
then he got to stop that bullshit.
Jose, I'm having to calm you down, chill you out, because you're just getting very angry and talking through everyone. Just calm down.
Yeah, because Kwai is full of shit. He say, no, they're feeding me.
Jose, that's what I've just tried to stop you from doing. Jose, can you calm down? You've completely ignored the question. Completely. So you asserted Earth curve causes things disappearing from bottom up.
He asserted a dome.
And now you're talking through me, aren't you? So Jose, you're talking to everyone. Jose,
he claimed the dome.
Jose, you are behaving like a triggered fundy. Can you calm down and stop yelling through me?
You made an assertion of a dome. You haven't provided evidence. Why do I have to provide evidence of this assertion that I did?
Jose, I tried to address this and you've ignored that also. I'll try and address it again. No doubt you're just shouting through me. You're starting already. You're starting already. Do I need to... Jose, I tried to address this with you again. I've just pointed out that on my second attempt that you'll just start shouting through me. And lo and behold, that's exactly what you did. Literally the moment I finished the statement that you would start shouting through me before I got chance. I already addressed this with you. I asked you what an antecedent was, and there was a long, protracted silence. Then QE said he's being fed, and you said I could show myself on camera. Well, now we're back to what? We could see you not saying anything for a prolonged period when asked if you know what an antecedent is? What's an antecedent?
I'm waiting for QE evidence of this dome first. Not just tell me a word, it's the antecedent. No, show me the fucking evidence and then I'll give you what you ask.
Jose.
You sound sad, Jose.
Just chill out.
This is pretty pathetic, brother.
Just 1 second. Jose.
Look at QE, he's very quiet because he cannot give that, right?
Jose, Chocolate, you're not helping, Chocolate. Thanks, by the way. Jose, you were asked a question in regards to his response that you're saying he hasn't given, and then shouting a lot. The response was, it's an antecedent, and you were asked if you understood what that means. Now you're filibustering and saying, it's just a word. What, a word you do understand and disagree with?
I need visuals.
So I hadn't finished, Jose.
I need visuals.
He needs a coloring book.
Chocolate, you're not helping. Second time I've told you, Chocolate. He'll just start talking as soon as you talk. As soon as you talk, I'll not get my point answered. He'll start addressing you. That's what they do. Jose, do you know what an antecedent is?
Nathan, I do not know what an antecedent is.
So how would you understand... Jose, shut up. Shut up, you dumb fuck. Yeah, so he's given you a response, and you haven't got a fucking clue what the response means, so you're going to hand wave it. No, hand waving a response rebuttal in this instance to your claim he needs to provide evidence for a dome when his response, the word antecedent, isn't understood by you. You don't know what it means. So you don't understand how his rebuttal would leave him with absolutely no requirement to show you a dome. But you don't understand what the word he's used to respond to you is. With. Now, I have addressed that 3 times, 2 of which were with you shouting through me. I also, when I first addressed this, so it's actually 4 times, detailed not only that you don't understand what consequent is, now we antecedent, my bad, is, but also that you'd made a positive assertion that the only cause of things disappearing from bottom up is Earth curve. And we're asking you, the claimant, who's made this positive assertion, to back your claim. Not about domes, you didn't understand antecedent. So we're moving past that and onto your positive claim that, quote, the only thing that can cause things disappearing from bottom up is Earth curve. Yes, Jose, can you back that claim? Not circle jerk back to something you haven't understood. That would be an antecedent.
I understand what an antecedent is. It's a thing or event that existed before or logically precedes another. Now I need visuals of...
Right, so we need a fucking container to have fucking gas pressure. It's a fucking antecedent, you dumb twat. So now you've looked it up, you understand that without gas pressure, you wouldn't have anything to press on if you haven't got it. So therefore, containment's absolutely required, you dumb motherfucker.
I'm going to tell you...
Oh, you're just going to shout through this, are you dumb fucking twat?
So, antecedent...
You're just going to shout through me, are you dumb twat? Do I need to mute you, you prick? Oi, shut up!
Now,
shut
I need
up!
a visual
Jose, you're being very
but
gotta shut him up. Jose, I've got to mute you. Yeah? You're being very disruptive. You just told us you didn't understand what antecedent is. Now you've looked it up, you think you need to hold the mic for the next 25 fucking minutes while I shout at you that it isn't required to show it, it's required to have it. You can't have gas pressure without a container, you dumb fuck. So it's not required to show a dome. Shut up! You stupid prick! You're the dumbest person here, and you're talking after doing a wiki search. We understood what this word meant. You've had to look it up after telling us you don't know what it means. Now that you've looked it up, you think you can hold the mic for the next 10 minutes? You stupid retard. Shut up!
You're muting me.
Yeah, I am going to mute you, you dumb fuck. You keep talking through everyone who does understand this word, hasn't have to go and look it up, only to shout through every fucking word of the people who do understand it. You're not one of them, you dumb twat. So shut up!
You unmuted me. Thank you for unmuting me. So.
Yeah, shut up! You stupid retard. I'm not going to be filibustered through while you tell me what an antecedent is, having looked it up 30 seconds ago. You are the stupidest person here. The rebuttal's been read out by definition by you, and you think that you need to now filibuster this stupidity that you've demonstrated and stop me from pointing out how stupid you are and telling you off? No! You prick! You think you're going to rumpus the shit out of me and then moan about the mute button? Yeah, I'll mute you to tell you off, you stupid retard!
Thank you for unmuting me, Nathan.
Yes, shut up! You stupid retard! You come here telling us about what's what, arguing about not understanding what a bloody vacuum is, telling us you don't understand antecedent, and then you think you've got the nerve to moan about being fucking muted? You stupid retard! Yeah, I'm going to tell you off. No, you're not going to talk through every fucking word of it. You're a stupid idiot. You haven't got a clue what you're talking about, and you think you've got the right to moan about being shut up when you're the stupidest person here. You're damn right I'm going to shut you up. You unbelievable prick. You're as thick as shit. Do you hear me, thicko?
Ooh, thanks for unmuting me again.
Shut the fuck up. You are a retard, Jose. All you've got is protestations about being shut up so you don't interrupt me telling your dumbass off. Yeah? You think your outrage about being shut up while I tell you off about your stupidity is going to fly? You're fucking right I'm going to shut you up. How dare you talk through me? I'm berating your dumb ass and your stupidity. You're not going to fucking talk through every word of it, you stupid retard.
All right, I'm unmuted. I can speak now. Thank you.
No! You can sit there in fucking silence off mute, and I'm trying to train you that you're not going to talk while I tell you off. You dumb fuck! You're going to sit there in silence and be told off like a stupid little child. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to thank me for unmuting your dumb ass. You're going to sit there, shut the fuck up, and be told how dumb you are!
Appreciate for the unmuting again. Thank
is this all you're going to moan about, you stupid retard? Being unmuted? You think your protestations about being muted are going to be fucking heard by anybody? You think we care?
Yeah. In this, I mean, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So there were two parts.
Shut up! You think you're going to go on to make a fucking point here? You retard! You've got no points to make here, you stupid twat. Why are you now going on to make a point? Why don't you have some fucking humility?
Dude, chill out.
Who's telling me to chill out? Because you're going to get removed.
I'm unmuted now. I can speak now. All right, thank you.
Who told me to chill out?
Now, QE needs to provide the evidence.
Shut the fuck up, Jose. You think you're going to make your demands? You stupid retard. No! You're not going to make any fucking claims. You're not going to make any demands. You're not going to ask us anything. You stupid retard. What you're going to do is sit there, shut the fuck up, and be told how dumb you are. That's what you're going to do, you unbelievable prick. You're not going to tell me off. You're not going to tell me that you're objecting to being muted. Yeah, I'm going to shut you up, and I'm going to tell you off, because you're dumb as fuck. Do you understand, you stupid retard?
You're right over there, Nathan. You gotta chill out, man.
No, I'm going to tell people off when they come here and tell me that they don't know what an antecedent is. And then when they go away and wiki search it, they think that they've got the right to talk through every word I say for the next 10 minutes. No, Jose. No, you stupid retard. No, you're not going to get the right to now ask questions. You're going to sit here with me telling you off until you learn some humility. You are a retard. You hadn't got a clue what the rebuttal you were given meant, and you even admitted it when asked by me. Then you went and searched it on Google and thought that you then had the right to shout through everybody else how right QE was as a defence. That makes you the most stupid person here and worthy of being berated by me.
Wrong.
I agree. He's right. Nathan is right, dude. You are lost.
Thank you for your hospitality. I gotta go do my thing.
Yeah,
Take
go
it easy, Nathan.
fuck
You're gonna blow up.
yourself, you stupid retard. Go back to the spastics on your channel and revel in your stupidity. And understand that when you did come here, you got told off for being stupid. And your appeals to being shut up while I did so didn't fly, you complete fucktard.
Become one with the mute button, you must.
Yeah, I'll shut you up while all you can do is appeal to not being able to talk through me telling your dumb ass off. Yeah, that's the only fucking defence that you retards have. To talk through me while I point out how fucking dumb you are. Filibuster every fucking word of it. And then appeal to being shut up for doing so. Yeah, I'm going to shut you up, you dumb spastic. I'm going to shut you up and make it loud and clear to an audience. A bigger audience than you fucking retard. They'll listen to how stupid you are. They'll listen to me telling you off after pointing out where and how you're wrong. After holding you to account for your complete and utter stupidity. That's what they'll hear. They won't hear you talking through every fucking word of it, you stupid twat.
I feel warm, cozy, and welcome here.
You shouldn't. You're not fucking welcome. You're a retard. We value intelligence. You have none. You think me shouting at you and telling you off is your welcome? This is me telling you how unbelievably unwelcome retards are here. They get told off by me with great rage and anger. Yeah, I'll forcibly tell you how fucking stupid you are, Jose.
And I thought we were friends, Nathan.
No, we're not friends. We're not close compadres. We're nothing but two people, one of which thinks he can appeal to a mute button while I tell him off for his stupidity.
Are you having a mute boner, Nathan?
No,
Who is this asshole?
For the mute button.
Who is this asshole?
He switched my friendship for the mute button. Friendship. Damn.
Who is this asshole talking?
I don't like it.
I can't see him.
It sounds like Ed. But I can't see him. I think Ed is probably thinking this is all very funny too, because he doesn't get the scope of the stupidity that Nathan has been exposing in Jose's actions here. And Jose's just clowning around like, yeah, haha, I'm an idiot, but it's okay because I think
when you're a clown.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
now what he does, what he's going to do is he's going to go on his show in about an hour or so and complain about how he was muted. So let's listen to what happened here.
Or
hold on a second.
Or everybody that watches his
hold on a second. I wasn't done. What he did was, if everyone remembers this, I know it was a little while ago, but I explained to him the consequent necessary antecedent through the filet mignon and the cow. Then I calmly asked him, do you understand? He said, yes. Then a few seconds later, he said that things disappear from the bottom up, and the only thing that could be is Earth curve. When I see, we already stopped the subject with the gas pressure antecedent and the container. That subject was done. We now went on to a new subject, and his new subject where he claims things disappear from the bottom up because he said only due to Earth curvature. That was the next subject. When I challenged that, what did he do? He went right back to the previous subject and said that we didn't give him any evidence, physical evidence of a container. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, just a circle jerking asshole. Isn't going to be held to account for the claim he's made. He's claimed only thing that causes bottom-up obstruction is Earth curve. Can you prove that claim, please? And then chaos and moaning and talking through and circle jerking back to a different subject, refusing to accept that you've already had an answer in the form of it's an antecedent and totally ignored. Everything from then on is just basically an obfuscation technique to get away from the fact he can't prove his claim. And that's the only question we're trying to get to. And what will he do when I tell him off for looking up what an antecedent is and then thinking that he's got the right to hold the mic for the next 10 minutes? Oh, he'll moan because he wants to talk through me while I do that. He's not going to be told off for his stupidity. No, he will talk through every word of it and then complain when I shut him up and don't let him doing it. Oh, I'm not being allowed to stop the person who's telling me off for my stupidity telling me off. I'm not being allowed to interrupt that constantly so no one can hear me being told off for my stupidity. How unfair that I should be in any way disciplined for being a complete retard. I should be able to talk through every word of this. No.
Yeah, but do you see what else he's doing, though? The reason he made that claim was to explain to us how he understands the antecedent relationship. So to him saying, oh, bolts disappear bottom up, that the necessary antecedent to that is curvature. That's literally what he's trying to do.
I'm sharing my screen at the moment, Nathan, if you want to share it. It shows a photograph.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one I was talking about. Just for the audience.
Go on.
Have it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just for the audience's benefit. If you can see it, let me know.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, that's an olive jar at the back. I'm just going to show the two of them together from a different angle, a higher angle. Two of them together, closer. I'm closer there, and my angle is slightly higher. And this is from further away, back, and my angle low. The olive jar appears to have gone over the curve, but it's not. It's just the angle of view to the bottom of it. As you can see, that's the exact same position they're in.
Perfect.
So it's just the distance and angle of view. Thank you.
Perfect. Very short, concise. Excellent. Love it.
Mic check. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you, Q Enigma.
Yeah. So can somebody explain to me concisely why you can't have gas pressure without a container?
It's a necessary antecedent.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so
Do you
right,
know what
so
the
let me ask you
definition of gas pressure is?
Yeah, is it because you cannot measure the pressure? You cannot.
Sorry, you've
measure
asked
the
us a question
gases
when we've
pressing
answered.
against
Is
the
it okay if we ask you a question, or is that not how this works? So, you understand the definition of gas pressure? That's what Chocolate just asked you. You ignored him.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, gas pressure is when gas is hitting, let's say a container, or it's hitting a
Let's
surface.
say a container? Why should we just let's say when that's the necessary antecedent? Look, not let's say. Not, today it might be a container. Let's just say it's a container today. It is a container. It's the necessary antecedent, as we answered you.
Okay, so let's say we do this sort of experiment where we have two fans, right? Crossing one another, crossing the streams, right? And you have some sort of measuring device that measures gas pressure.
Okay.
Would you say that those gas particles are hitting each other?
Right. Where did we get the gas pressure from in the first place for these fans to even be blowing anything around? How do we have that gas pressure if we don't have a container? and the sky is a vacuum? How is it possible that we've even got this fan set up? Wouldn't all the gas that you're about to blow around escape into the sky vacuum? How do we have the gas pressure in the first place to do this? Makes no sense. I don't understand.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I understood your example with the two fans. I listened. But the problem with your example is that it would require we do actually have gas pressure to do this, right? We're going to need gas pressure to do this, aren't we? Hello?
Okay.
To blow stuff around, we're going to need gas pressure to do that, aren't we? Yes, Nathan, we are. Yeah, we're blowing gas pressure. That's right, we're going to need a container then, aren't we? To do this. To have the gas pressure you're blowing around, we'd require a necessary antecedent of containment, wouldn't we?
Okay, I get your point.
Well, you haven't answered it, though. So where are we getting this gas pressure from for your example to work? First, before your example takes place, I want to know where we're getting the gas pressure from.
Well, the way that you say it like that, then you're getting it from being a container.
Oh, right. So there's no real need. So hold on. So there's no real need for us to then show you anything then. You understand implicitly that it's required. Therefore, no further evidence is needed. Simple yes will suffice.
Okay, I see. No, I see what you're saying.
And a simple yes will suffice. You understand that there's no requirement for me to just show you a damn thing. The very fact we have gas pressure proves beyond all certitude that there must be containment. You understand that? Again, a simple yes will suffice.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, right. So when Jose earlier was circle jerking us back to we haven't proved a dome, you, given that you understand what an antecedent is, would understand that it's not required as proof for a dome. We know we must have containment because we're breathing gas pressure. That's the end of that assertion from us. You agree?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So that would make Jose a prick then, when he circle jerked back because he didn't understand what an antecedent was and then went on for 10 minutes having only just looked it up. Makes him a wanker who later appealed to being shut up while I told him off for doing exactly that. Meanwhile, the sky is not a vacuum, outer space is fake, and we can't have gas pressure without a container, but we're breathing it, so we definitely don't have a sky vacuum.
Somebody looked that up for Jose.
And
He didn't look it
apparently
up
you
himself.
understood this in about 4 minutes. Jose's been at this for years and still can't understand it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why he doesn't understand it.
Oh, he understands already.
He can't even understand the concept of beyond creation. He came in here talking about where did the gas come from in the first place. I mean, what is that even on a logical level?
But that's actually a good question.
Who was that I stepped on that interrupted my conversation with Jose? I didn't mean to be rude to you, sir. I just wanted to get his conclusion. So if you want to go on with what you had to say, please.
Well, he was just he was clueless, man. Forget. He
Who am I
doesn't
speaking
understand
to?
the direction of the bird.
What's your name, guy? The guy that's speaking right now?
I didn't catch that.
Don't you think we're all just saying the same thing about the burden of proof? If there's a law of thermodynamics and you need a container for the pressure, if they want to claim special circumstances to that, the burden.
Yeah, I just wanted to know your name. Yeah, that's a special pleading fallacy. I just wanted to know your name. I wanted to apologize. I didn't mean to, step all over you, but I was asking him specifically.
You good, dude? This depressed Don, dude. This depressed.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
You seem too reasonable to be
You
a
guys
globehead.
caught that.
Sorry, just one sec. You seem too reasonable, Q Enigma, to be a globehead.
Oh, is that a compliment? Thank you.
It was more of a question. Are you a I'll take that as an affirmation, though. So you are a globehead, just a more than reasonable one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being reasonable.
I was going to say, thanks for breaking the mold. You calmed me right down. Thank you very much. An actual concession, that'll get my blood pressure right back to normal.
Well, I understand how you can have in your, if there is a dome, I understand how that can work. I mean, it's not very complicated.
Whoa, belief.
It's just the word dome. Not dome. Containment. Whatever that may be. Containment. We must have containment here because we're breathing.
If you can come up with a better explanation for us having gas pressure other than us having a container, and you need to prove it.
Yeah, we don't need any explanations because that explanation would debunk the necessary antecedent consequent established how many years? I think man figured this out like thousands of years ago. Don't you think? We don't need explanations. We don't need that. If you're going to give us an explanation, then you need scientifically validate that explanation, or else it's just a just so story that you made up. Everyone understand this?
Here.
We don't need just so stories. That's how we got into this mess.
Exactly.
So no explanations, none of this explanatory power, wherever you got that shit from, who knows? Yeah, explain it, and then immediately after that, demonstrate it physically for us, or give us an experiment. That's also physically demonstrating it. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what we seem to get, and old habits die hard, so we had Rumpus in at the beginning of the show, and he's like, we can do an experiment to prove the sky is a vacuum, after begging the question and saying that he could show gas pressure without a container by pointing at the sky vacuum. It's like, my God, their repertoire is just so thin on the ground at the moment. They really have very little to pick from.
That's very surprising. I'm called Burger King on the daily for wanting it my way, for having more proof.
More proof of?
Proof of how the globe model tries to sell it to us. I mean, I'm just not sold. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in the position of the original scientists and researchers, and I don't see the documented experiments of it.
Yeah, but now we
have something, but they never proved it.
You know,
you'll never see it because that's out of context. You can't have scientific experiment for what's and is, or what is question. That's non sequitur. So they're not scientists.
Well,
They're
even the data
portraying
collection, QE. I mean, even the data.
What's data
But
collection?
yeah, I get
we
what you're
get
saying.
data
Thank you.
from
Thank you.
experiments. Data only comes from experiment, unless you're just getting random information that you're going to concoct together, and then guess what you're going to do? Come up with another just so story. Right? Not you.
Well, I do appreciate your higher level of standards than me, but just to communicate to you so that I make sure I'm clear what I'm saying. I mean, we still know we want more, whatever you want to call it. They haven't sold me as my.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I wasn't dogging you out. It was just, it's good for the audience to hear that, right? Not a personal attack on you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you keeping it term.
It's their standards. You know, like I say, Rumpus came earlier and said he got an experiment. So therefore he's going to be held to account on the standards that he says he's got. Now, is it force of habit? You know, he forgot that it's been changed to the body of knowledge by him recently? Maybe. But ultimately, if you say you've got an experiment and then you go on to say, well, it's just an observation, again, I tried to make him concede that it's not an experiment then, as you claimed, and he refused to. Now, I'm not going to get as angry with him, because Jose deserves a good shouting at. That's why he got one, because he hasn't had that. Rumpus has had it plenty of times, so I'll just kick him out. You know, but ultimately speaking, that's a magic trick that they've used for centuries. Assert that they've got science. Why? Well, because you trained at school that science is empirical. Because it is. So when you say science, people think empiricism. And that's all the trick they need to make you think their just so story is valid. And that's his trick. I'm going to tell you a story about going up in altitudes and how the pressure decreases. The story will include how that continues to happen to nothing, violating the second law of thermodynamics. That's my story. Not actually a story, though, it's an experiment. Meaning it's empirical, I made it up myself.
Well, when you asked them,
hold up.
hang
I
on,
need
Chuck.
clar-
Hang on.
Go ahead.
When you asked him, Nathan, that is rumpus, to prove it, he says, just step outside. That was his answer.
So I need clarification. They changed it from the body of science to the body of human knowledge?
Correct.
That's what it is now?
Yeah, that's what they say. By body of human knowledge, they mean body of authorship, i.e. they are the authorities on their stories that they make up. Therefore, they are true because they made them up themselves. They're the authorities.
Huh.
I mean, it's
Funny
interesting.
how they're
Gone.
straying away from the word science again, right? Because again, remember before we were science deniers when we were told there's all this science to prove the globe, and now in 2020, science has approved things. So apparently they're going all the way with it, and now saying, I mean, how many times has Rumpus said body of science? And they took that away from him.
Yeah, because when
pretty
you
bad.
Science deniers were science enforcers.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's another, like asking us where our edge is as a reverse of the weak part of their argument. This is another one of those. They've got a very, very poor science acumen when it comes to their just so stories. There's no science for any of it. So what do?
You don't understand what science is, Nathan. You've no idea what science is. You don't understand its
Piss off,
observation.
Rumpus. I've already kicked you out. Come back
You
tomorrow.
don't have a clue.
I've already picked you out.
You don't have a
Come back
clue.
tomorrow. Dickhead.
Can
Just
I
talking
ask,
about you.
He posted something. He said Nathan's a moron because he's declaring the antecedent doesn't make it so. Why is that?
He can come back tomorrow. I've already kicked him out once. He wouldn't concede that it wasn't an experiment.
All right, no.
So, if you've got no humility, I'm not going to... Again, Jose, he's not going to get told off indefinitely if he comes back. Chocolate saying, you know what I'm talking about. Once they've come in and asserted nonsense over and over again, there's no point telling them off. Rumpus is untell-offable. So you might as well just kick him out. He can come back tomorrow. But at this point, no. He's got totally... a complete lack of humility, as far as I am concerned. Same as Jose, obviously cut from the same stone, it seems.
Nathan, we talked about this morning, how they never any humility.
Yeah, it was the opening to the show.
That was great. Untell-offable.
Well, you can't
I
tell
have a
him off.
baller story if you want to hear it.
Say again, Brian.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't realize you were going to come back and say something. There's a guy. This is just an example of a good example of the kind of well, I don't know what way to describe it. The kind of I don't want to use the word brainwashing, but it's the only thing I can use that the globe has on people. There's a guy I'm dealing with in comments on YouTube who's some kind of an aviator, some kind of a pilot, or supposedly is, and he has videos up there that he took himself, let's just say, to do with aviation. And one of them is a short video from the cockpit or something of this is the nonsense of the horizon being a degree below where he is, or a degree and a half or something like that. And I had to point out to him that did he forget that he flies with the nose of his plane 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal, and like besides anything else to do with the horizon, right? Is this like, did you not even think about that before you decided to make a video and make a big claim that this was the drop of the curve of the earth? You're supposed to be a pilot. You're supposed to know these things, that you're flying 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal. If anyone asked you, you'd be able to tell them, yeah, I fly 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal, right? Any of them could tell you that. But then suddenly, because of a belief in this mathematical model, because he sees the horizon, what he's determining as a degree below where he expects it to be, that's it, that's the curve of the earth. Completely forgetting that his nose of the plane is at least 1 degree above horizontal. This is what you're dealing with. It's just like,
Is that horizon that he's looking at? Is that the apparent horizon? The
yeah, but see,
geometric one.
you don't even have to, before you, that's even like for him, that's even delta x, because he has to get the x. It's like, Start at the start. He is flying with his nose 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal.
Yeah, horizontal.
I mean,
Well, maybe
Hold on, Chocolate. To answer your question, so that's another. Oh, what a coincidence! It's on screen. So you've got what is called the sensible horizon for Al-Biruni, is also called the true horizon or astronomical, or is it celestial? I always forget. Horizon. In other words, 90 degrees from your zenith.
yeah, like I mean, he loses his intelligence the minute he goes back to his belief. If he used his intellect, he would know that the plane he's flying is 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal. So he'd have to take that into account if you wanted to find out why the horizon appears a bit lower than you expect it to be. That's the first thing to take into account. You know what I mean? That's the start. But he loses that ability. This guy lost that ability straight away because he went straight to a belief. He went, no, it's the curve of the earth. I mean, you're flying the bloody plane 1 to 3 degrees above horizontal, and you're wondering why the horizon might be a degree lower. I mean, think about that first. That's the start. Is it the plane? Is it me the way I'm flying? That's the start. But they don't do this. It's no intelligence, no logic, straight to belief.
that's why instead of you,
Instrument is
that's why
level. Instrument is level.
gradient. I was talking.
Did you just call him Gradient?
Yes, he did.
A good pun too.
That's who he is.
He's the gradient, Nathan.
Ooh. Go ahead, 10th.
Oh, I had a good pun. It just the timing is off now. But when Brian said the pilot, and then he said it's just like Delta X, and I said, well, Delta's an airline, so he might be an ex-Delta pilot.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Timing is just a concept.
Yeah, I can't explain it. It's not the same. Like,
Hey, I got another
gradient.
good one. I got another good one for everyone's evaluation. I've been hearing this I don't know. I think it come out a while ago, but I've been hearing this more and more and more, and it's on refraction. What they're saying is that if you get higher, like as you climb up a mountain, then when you look down, there'll be less and less refraction. So let's say I'm on a beach and there's a mountain just behind me, right? Or a cliff. And what they're saying is there'll be less refraction if I climb up to the top of that cliff than there will be down close to the water. But isn't refraction the changing light as it goes through different densities?
No and yes. In their paradigm, yes.
Yeah, in their paradigm.
In their paradigm, yes. In reality, no. It needs to change medium. But in their paradigm, go on.
Yeah, I'm in there. I'm sorry, I should have prefaced this. In their paradigm.
Oh, absolutely, yes. In their paradigm, it's the changing of the slightly thinning air as you look over a gradient that's being produced because of the presupposed drop that you're looking through. Obviously, that's going to increase the refracted levels. That's why they have their terrestrial refraction calculated thusly, 7/6 of the radius. However, in reality, that's not the case. It has to change medium. Now, if you increase in altitude, which just to get back onto your actual point, as you increase in altitude, in their paradigm, you'd be looking through differing gradiated pressure, and that would mean more refraction.
Exactly. That's exactly my point, you dumb shits. I had to rewind it a couple times. Wait a second. Did I hear you just say that? Right? If I'm at the same elevation of my target, there are less density gradients than if I walk up a frigging mountain and look at it. Depends on how far I go up, right?
It gets better, right? In the case of the Black Swan, the level of refractometer or reading that you'd need to take into account is obviously astronomical, right? It's really high in their paradigm again. However, the thing that you're supposed to be looking at is only 1.2 miles away. It's not even that far. And it's not going through any gradients. It's not experiencing any drop. You're just looking at what they presuppose is the tangent point that you can't see. So it's not even that far away. Right? So it's preposterous to say that you've got more refraction down low when you're looking at a presupposed geometric horizon you can't see at 1.2 miles, and therefore there's huge levels of refraction at this short distance. Yet you look out to a horizon that's potentially, tens, hundreds of miles away potentially when you're up a mountain, depending on how far you can see. Well, you're then looking through all of the thinning air that's got thinner and thinner and thinner and up to the top of the mountain. The reason they've started saying this is because of you pointing out that Al-Biruni has derived the geometric horizon from the true horizon, i.e. a 90-degree imaginary horizon you draw out when you've got 90 degrees from your zenith. Well, based on him having two horizons, true horizon and to be labelled geometric horizon, he can then extrapolate out from his previous 90-degree position to his drop value, but he hasn't got a physical point to draw a tangent line to as he did. Why would you draw a line to something that in your paradigm is completely refracted through loads of different layers? You haven't got one. So their address to that is there's less refraction as you go up. No.
Well, yeah, actually, I made that point. You guys don't remember, but I made that. Oh, sorry. I made that point weeks ago, but nobody caught it. Because also, you not just the differential or air pressure differential, but you also have the temperature gradient too, because temperatures get lower as you go higher. And then I made that point. What you said, if you're at ground level, there's going to be less medium going through. Especially if you're at the same level as what you're observing. Nobody caught it, but I made that point weeks ago.
I caught that, Paul. It was pretty much directly after it was first brought up about Al-Biruni. You were quick to point this out when the first defence came in from a baller. Oh, well, there's less refraction as you go up. No, not according to your paradigm. But the point is there's refraction. And it really doesn't matter how much you qualify it or how much more it's getting. It makes no difference. As soon as you say the word refraction, they haven't got a geometric horizon to draw a line to at all. They can't draw a line. So it matters not if it's 0.00111%. Makes no difference. Doesn't matter. 10%, 0.01%. Who cares? There's refraction, therefore not geometric anymore.
If you get those simulators on refraction, it doesn't take very much to cause the light to bend. Very little. I've been playing around with it for weeks. Even in the Walter Bislin one, I actually went back and got the temperature for that day and then put the numbers in, tried to figure it out with the water temperature and all that. And what you see is what you get, even under the Walter Bislin calculator. And I did the height of I put the height of the towers in, or the oil rigs, put that in there and try to get a roughly temperature gradient, and I got exactly what they showed in the Walter Bislin calculator.
Hey, Paul, I've got two images for Nathan and Master B about the zenith and the horizon that he was asking for. Can you post those one by one? This is very interesting.
Yeah, I've got them up.
I'm actually on my phone, so I can't share it.
When you're ready.
According to what they say, right, according to their explanation for us being able to see 10 miles from a 1 foot observer height and below 1 foot, that would mean that for me to stand at a 6 foot observer height, I should be able to see some days 60 miles. Think about it. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Which image
You'll
do you
never
have
see
up?
60 miles.
Your picture's up, 10th man.
Which one? I have two.
It's got Z for zenith, O, E, and then T, I.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So you see this, right? And now, obviously, that round thing underneath E, your eye height, is the globe model. Now go to the next picture.
Got it.
Sensible horizon, geodal horizon, celestial horizon, geometrical horizon, visible horizon. Now, what's interesting is that when you use the sextant and you're standing wherever on your boat in the ocean, that's your eye height because you got it on your eye. You must minus dip Dip is the true horizon, the sea horizon. That's on a sailboat, probably 9 feet, 10 feet at the most. You're on the bridge, it might be 50 feet. That's the only correction for dip there ever is in using a navigation tool, is to bring it to a true horizon, which is sea level, which is 0 on the right angle, and the zenith above you, and everything in between is the angle you're looking for, so you can know where you're at. And the way they've got this thing showing with all these multiple horizons is just for confusion. And as you see in the second picture, on top of that globe image, it says BB, and it's basically a circle around the top, and it's not even level, but that is supposed to be the great circle of flat horizon around you when you're on like one of those disco mirrors, so to speak. This is such buffoonery, such lying as an image goes. There's no such thing as these other things when it's time to use a sextant for navigation. You must have a flat horizon, and the dip is only a subtraction from where you are observing it on top of your boat to sea level, which is 0 on the right angle, and the zenith is above your head at 90 degrees. And the angle in between, the star that you're capturing, is going to show you maybe 55 or 65, and then you go to your Air Almanac book. So you can see how they try to lie to people as if anybody ever looks out and sees a ball like this curved down. Never, ever in your life have you ever seen that.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to you in the Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 Primary Stream audience for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!